Well, we move on to the big data parts and programmatic and everything that makes your advertising effective. That's what we are going to be talking now in the next few presentations here on stage. And right now, I have an amazing pleasure, a huge pleasure to invite here my longtime friend and partner of Webit, Timotej. Timo, please join on the stage. Timotej Gala is the Managing Director for Central Eastern Europe of Httpool. This time, he promised me he's going to make an announcement. Are you going to keep your promise?
In the last slide, yes.
All right. Thanks a lot for this. All right. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. So, thanks for having us here. And I'm really happy to be on Webit here in Sofia again. I consider Sofia kind of one of my homes because I'm here very often and I like it very much. So, what is Httpool for those who don't know? We are a cross-channel ad network with presence of majority of CE markets and also in Asia, with international focus outside US and Western Europe. And I'm going to be addressing three main questions today. So first thing will be, what are the key challenges of cross-channel advertising? Then what are the preconditions for its effective and actually successful implementation and execution? And lastly, what is the role of programmatic and automatization within cross-channel advertising as well? So let's start with first. So basically there are a lot of fragmentation going on in terms of, and a lot of questions related to advertising to your prospective customers now in this age of multitasking and multi-device, right? And there are basically several challenges in terms of high fragmentation in user behavior, in their preferences, and also high fragmentation in the media consumption, right? And while users, how to say, surf or switch between channels, right? The marketers, they're still going, they're still using one single or few channel approaches, right? Or on mobile or on desktop. So there's basically one single approach. And that's why it has to be changed in a sense that structure and processes within the marketing departments should be aligned, should be adjusted in order to tackle this challenge and address it properly. And lastly, there's again, huge fragmentation in terms of available technologies and also inventory sources. So this means that there are basically hundreds of networks, DSPs, ad exchanges globally, or even regionally, marketing platforms, optimization tools, and they all focus mostly on one channel, or display, mobile, video, search, social, whatever. So, and also mostly focused on one device. And then the question comes, which tool to use, which inventory source to choose, how to use it, how to basically implement it, all this. So it's getting complicated, complex, right? So if you can have an overview of current situation, we have basically huge fragmentation in terms of media consumption, and you have huge, I would say, ability to choose from many different technologies, right? But then on the other hand, you have a one single channel, one single device approach. And of course, this cannot really produce optimal results, right? So the main mission that we have is basically to address that cross-channel advertising is the process to go about. So it is really complex, it is challenging and difficult, but it's the only way how to go one step further and improve the efficiencies, right? And this is one of our major Httpool missions, to simplify this, this process and make it work for everyone in the industry. So I'm going to now describe which are the key, I would say, building blocks to make this transition successful. And in our view, we believe that technology, methodology, and overall broad access to inventory sources, these are the key pillars of successful cross-channel advertising. And if we start with technology, basically we need to understand what is the role, how we put this in the whole landscape, say. In the beginning, technology was there on the market as an enabler, right? There was at serving in the first phase until 2003, and basically these represented the main building block of the whole ecosystem, of the whole industry, right? And then in the next phase, it got commoditized. It was readily available to everyone, and it basically enabled the whole market to grow. And it was not until end of 2007 where first exchanges appeared, like Right Media at that point. And then that phase from 2008 until basically now, where huge explosion of innovation hit our industry basis. So hundreds of tools, platforms, optimization tools, exchanges and all this, right? So, but all this basically just increased the whole complexity of our world, our industry, right? How to actually approach all these things. And until now, there's still no solution that would help or fully support a media planner to execute its own campaigns cross-channel, cross-devices, and especially not in premium segment. So what is the role of technology actually? So in our view, it's basically based on artificial intelligence. The ad technology solution should fully support marketers, media agencies, with them performing across channel, across devices. This technology should enable them switch budgets and optimize budgets and take the advantage of all the synergies from among these different channels. And at the same time, it needs to enable these marketers to really efficiently use and understand what to do with the whole technology. So this is basically the main role. Second part, of course, it's the whole cross-channel approach, the whole methodology. You've seen this picture in previous presentation as well. But basically, the cross-channel advertising specialists need to understand not only a role of each digital channel and its contribution to the desired KPIs, but also he needs to fully understand all the synergies among the channels. He needs to understand how the reallocation of the budget must play within the campaigns. He needs to be able to improve efficiency of the campaign through dynamic creatives. And also he needs to take full, extensive leverage of the automatization and the rules towards their KPIs that can be managed through automatization, right? So basically, and in order for, of course, technology technology solutions, and on the other side, the specialists, to be able to really efficiently perform these campaigns, they should have access to really broad range of local, international inventory sources that can be across device, that can be enabled with multiple or possible targeting options, multiple ad formats, and pricing models. So, and all these should be also, of course, connected to all the major ad networks, ad exchanges, DSPs. So, all this can be it's only possible in a co-petitional open ecosystem, where basically the role of the ad networks is to provide the marketers, media agencies with access to their proprietary or third-party inventory. So, combining all these building blocks from before, putting it on the ground as a basis, and putting the technology layer, intelligence layer on top of it, we can have a cross-channel platform. And basically, it leverages all these benefits that I was discussing in previous slides. And of course, programmatic and automatization have key roles into enabling this kind of platforms, this kind of solutions, to, of course, to work. They are the main building blocks. So, for those who don't know what basically programmatic means, I'm sure a majority of you are already familiar with it. It's basically a way of buying media in an automatic way, actually. putting aside all that traditional I/O or papyrology and bureaucracy that comes along, right? And why is it important? Well, because if you really try to follow how, at what pace it's developing, it's already right now really huge. And in the next 3-4 years, it's planned to even increase 3 times globally. And on the other hand, what basically does automatization do for you? So it actually really simplifies or fastens the whole processes when you're dealing on certain channels. For example, you're using a Facebook campaign. So you can really increase the speed and efficiency while using these tools. And basically, a few areas where you can really go in detail. I'm going to talk a bit in a few seconds more. So the role of programmatic actually is expanding really rapidly, and it's going from long tail. We know Google is already there and taking that part, but it's going to premium. So, and this means that all major publishing brands globally already allocating a lot of bigger stacks of their inventory to the programmatic buy, and it's going there with higher and higher pace. At the same time, it's extending from display, of course, also to mobile and video. And again, in 3-4 years' time, 70 to 90% of all media buying will be done through programmatic. So it is something that needs to be really considered heavily already today. Just a nice example of how automatization works, for example, in terms of, let's say, Facebook. So let's imagine we have a campaign, €1,000, 2 weeks, a gender, there's a target group 20 to 50, something like that. So in order to make it efficient, successful, you have to set it up properly, right? So we need to provide several targeting segments and segment your audience in the right way in order to make the best out of it. So for example, with 5 age groups, 2 gender groups, and 3 different creatives, you create around 30 ads. And now let's, for example, compare if you do this manually or if you do this through a tool. And for example, you have a campaign setup. You have a bid optimization, so during the campaign, the optimization part. And then you have the report. In total, basically, there's over 80% of time savings. And this is a very simple campaign. When it gets more complicated, when you want to do more conversions, more direct KPIs involved in it, or more segmentation, more target groups involved, it adds to complexity. So in this case, tools like this would help you even more. So, in my opinion, in our opinion here, we have basically 3 main benefits that come out from programmatic and automatization. The first one is control. Basically, you as a user have a control, as a buyer basically, you have a control, you have a control of pricing, it's transparent, and you can actually use price discrimination all along your activities, and this is a huge benefit. Second one is, of course, convenience. You have everything at one place. You have access to all of it, and it reduces manual workload, right? And thirdly, of course, result of all those 2 before, basically efficiencies on 2 levels. First one is operational, and first one is operational, where you actually reduce the whole workload. You really can streamline the processes. And second thing is, of course, financial, where you actually gain. You gain in terms of media buying. You increase the efficiency either for on the agency side or on the client side, on both sides, basically, right? So this is a huge thing. So basically, from our standpoint, from Httpool, we've been developing and investing heavily in such a platform since 2008, and we are very close to having a complete picture here. So that's why this year we are launching the first RTB-enabled networks across our markets. Bulgaria also will come really close, and here, of course, is with a partnership of UpNexus, our preferred partner here, that we are developing the whole ecosystem across our region. And the second, basically, main thing, which is, of course, the announcement that I wanted to make today for the first time publicly. We actually launched our own social optimization tool, which is right now in a private beta stage with several media agencies and major clients testing it across Europe and Asia. And we're planning to have it on a public beta in this quarter. So anyone who would like to really go into detail and see what these tools can do for you, for example, on Facebook advertising, can contact us to start first testing. So with this, I would like to thank you for your attention and, of course, enjoy the rest of the day.
Timo, I'm just finalizing my tweet on how great was your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's so informative and giving a great overview of the programmatic and how it goes. And congrats on thanks for keeping your promise on launching here this private beta.
Yeah.
So
it's a huge opportunity, and it's really a great tool for everyone using, specialized in Facebook. It helps really, really a lot.
Great. Thanks a lot.
More over dinner. Thank you.
Right, yeah, I mean, you'll stay here for the discussion panel anyway. So, well, thanks for speaking with